A very good evening and welcome to Weekend Dialogue. Tonight on the show, we are going to discuss about neuro-linguistic programming and human performance software. I have no idea what this is, but let's see what it is. For that, we have with us senior partner and senior management consultant of Sensei International, Ranjan De Silva, joining us. Welcome to the show.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you for joining us. But before I ask you about this neuro-linguistic programming and human performance software, I would like to give an introduction to Sensei International. It is an award-winning, or rather an organization which has been creating winning corporate cultures through leadership development. Let me ask you what this is all about.
Well, we believe that organizations generally focus a lot on the technical aspects, on strategies, on brands, on getting people, and they might hire the best talent available in the market. But lots of the time, they forget to focus on the software between what happens between these people. For example, if you take an organization as a fish tank, a metaphor I'm using, and you have the big fish, which are the leaders, the small fish is the school of fish, and they swim in the water. Now, we focus a lot on the fish tank, in the big fish and the small fish, but we forget the water. And if you don't have good water, if the water is toxic, the fish will not survive or grow. So, organizations do have to focus on that water, and what we do is help clear the water, make it nourishing, and that's what we call corporate culture. So, in order to do that, you need to have leaders who understands these concepts and who has the heart set and the mindset to go out and do it. And that's what we do for a living, help organizations help themselves by cleaning the water.
When you say you help them clean the water, how do you do this?
Well, it's a process. We start with assessments. We have a tool called the Human Performance Index, which basically checks the quality of leadership, quality of individual talent, quality of teams, as well as quality of their results focus. And we look at those 4 elements through 3 lenses. We look at them through systems and processes. Have they got systems and processes to do all these 4 things? Are people engaged? And how is the quality of execution? Do they get things done? Now, once we do this assessment, it clearly we come up with a diagnostic X-ray which clearly shows where the real issues are. And then we engage the senior team, get them to agree on the issues, come up with some must-win battles which needs to be won to clean the water, and then have a process of, it could be coaching the top team, some kind of consulting to set processes right, it could be training for specific people. So that's what we do overall, and the rest of it all depends on that first assessment. So because we are not an organization who has a product looking for a need. We actually look at needs and design and tailor the solution.
Okay. And what is neuro-linguistic programming in this context?
Okay, neuro-linguistic programming is a very interesting concept, and it's a science that we use as a base for what we do. NLP for short was discovered about 50 years ago. And it's all about how do you program your brain and nervous system, which is neuro, and using what language? So, linguistics is language. So, neuro-linguistic programming, therefore, is the software for the human brain. The language we use to program our brain, like programming a computer, so that we can run our life the way we want to run it.
It's that simple.
It's simple, and in fact, amazingly, the tools are so simple too, to learn. And that's what, when people come to our learning experiences, we call them play shops, they just have so much fun of self-discovery, getting to know people, and they go away highly energized, realizing what they can actually do with their lives.
And Sensei International has been operating for close to 20 years now, and you've been with them for 15 years. Before that, prior to that, you've been with John Keells Holdings, holding several senior positions. Tell us why you joined Sensei, how this transition happens, and about Sensei's operations so far.
Well, when Sensei's senior partner Omar Khan did learning experience for John Keells, for the top team, on neuro-linguistic programming. It was called Mastery of Self. I went in thinking it was something to do with computer programming. I was right and wrong, because on one hand it was the computer, but not the laptop or the desktop or the palm top. It was the neck top, as I call it. And that was an amazing, fascinating experience, and I realized that people can use it, and I wanted to be a channel to bring that technology first to Sri Lanka, and now I've been fortunate enough to take it around to about 20 different countries in the South Asia, in Middle East, and even in Europe and the Americas. And I realized that this is something which is really fulfilling, where you see you can open people's lives up, helping them to understand their brain and start programming it. So that's why I left. I have so much regard to John Keels, but I believe, and I'm so grateful for them also for giving me that opportunity to get that exposure and to meet Omar, and it's been fantastic and fascinating since then.
Right, so Omar Khan is the founder and senior partner of Sensei International. He will be back after 7 years in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, he's coming to Sri Lanka to do this mega learning experience on the 28th of October. And we are very excited about having him back, because he's been going around the globe. He's based in New York, and he's been working with lots of top organizations. So he comes back with a lot of collected wisdom of these 7 years to share it back with Sri Lankans. And this is a country that he loves. He really loves coming back to Sri Lanka. So
right. So this learning experience is something you all have done before, and it has been a success, I hear. Yeah,
the learning experience, which is mastery of self through neuro-linguistic programming, plus various types of corporate culture programs like leadership, teamwork, values, strategy. We've been doing that. But what Omar is going to do is something very new. It's first time, in fact, in Asia, not just Sri Lanka. So we are really fortunate to have these new tools and technology coming in for the first time here.
Right. If we talk a little more about this learning experience, which is happening on the 28th of October, tell us about, you all have morning sessions and, of course, afternoon sessions. Right. If we give our viewers a detail of this program.
Okay, what's going to happen in the morning is a session titled Top Performance Through Top Teams. So it's obviously for top teams, it's for senior teams, and we do encourage and invite organizations to send teams of either 10 or 5 or slightly here and there is fine. And in that session, they would learn very important concepts. Like one is the whole concept of human performance index, how to really measure the quality of the water, so that people do communicate better, they help each other better, they support each other. Because you might have the best talent, but if they just don't talk to each other, if they don't support, if they have egos which comes in the way, they can't perform. So it's about human performance index. And also we are introducing for the first time a concept called radical conversations, radical action conversations, so that organizations and their teams have real, authentic conversations, not the dormant or fake conversations we sometimes hear in organizations. So participants will learn how to have those conversations, how to clear the roadblocks which has made them plateau or even decline. So that you clear them out of the way, so that the teams can actually start running towards their goals with enthusiasm, with energy. And that's what's going to be really amazing about the morning session. So those teams will go away with some tools, closer together, and understanding some concepts and understanding how to work them, like the radical action conversations and the human performance index.
Sensei has been here from 1998 to 2006. You all have been very active, but then a low profile, you all have been maintaining a very low profile in the last few years. What is this all about? And it's really good to see you all back.
Yeah. Now, what happened is around 2006, most of our resources started getting redeployed in other markets. Like one of my partners went and took over Sensei Far East and started working off Singapore. Then I went over to Dubai because I had to look after the Middle East. We did have a few local consultants as well. But I suppose whilst the focus started shifting, we kept a low profile, and we did, of course, continue to consult and support lots of local companies, although the profile which you would see in the media is much lower. And I've of course, being away for 6-7 years is quite a lot, so you start feeling homesick, you want to come back and do something for your own country. So fortunately, I'm now able to spend more time, although I still get dragged out every month for a few weeks. But I'm really happy that we are here. We are having our team coming back together. So this is one event which is like a relaunch of Sensei,
right.
And bring back some of the new stuff.
So what are we to expect of Sensei in future?
Well, some of the new tools. Now, one of the things we're going to talk in the afternoon on the 28th is something called the heart and soul of real communications. The heart and soul of real communications. And we are introducing something called authentic engagements. It's another tool that we come up with. How do you authentically engage with each other, so that we get rid of the various toxic thoughts we have in our relationships? We get rid of emotionally violent conversations,
right.
which all are counterproductive. It creates negative energy. How do we clear the air so that people can actually communicate, they enjoy work? We create environments where people enjoy coming to work in the morning. Because Sri Lanka is fantastic in terms of our talent, in terms of our location. And Sri Lanka is now getting loads of awareness. Lots of my friends who come down to Sri Lanka for holidays or for work, they're just amazed at what's happening here, and they want to keep coming back. And I believe this is something we can take to the world in terms of our product here, plus added to that the intellectual capital. Right. So we can take our products abroad. We could become world leaders in brands. So there's lots of stuff we can do.
A lot of plans for Sensei too in future. But is this what you all do? Is this what you and Omar Khan is planning to implement in Sri Lanka in future?
Definitely. So we will be going into organizations who, and of course we do have like maybe 100 companies we worked with already, right. And some of them are happy that we're back, and there'll be loads of new companies. So Omar, then there are other consultants of Sensei in Sri Lanka. I also have consultants from the rest of the world, where Sensei has about 30 to 40 consultants around the globe. So they would be coming in based on the need of the client, and then helping them in creating these winning organizational cultures.
Right. If we finally look back at these organizations that you all helped develop their management styles, their skills, if you look back at that finally.
Well, we're really happy to know that in the late 90s, organizations like MAS Holdings in their formative years, Brandix, who was then Phoenix in their formative ages, companies like John Keel's, Haley's. We worked practically in most of the Haley's organizations and developed their leaders. And some of those who were in their sessions are now actually leading some of the Haley's companies. Right. And it could be companies like Sampath Bank. And there have been many organizations. And even little organizations like No Limit. They were earlier called French Corner when they had just one branch. And they were so passionate about what we were doing. They were getting our inputs and services, and it's great to see they are a huge chain now. So there have been lots of such organizations who have been working with us, and we're really excited coming back and being more accessible to them.
Right, and I wish you all the very best in helping organizations in creating winning cultures within organizations in Sri Lanka.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
It was indeed our pleasure to have you here in our studios. We had with us Mr. Ranjan De Silva, partner and senior management consultant of Sensei International, joining us in our studios tonight on Weekend Dialogue. After this break, I'll be back with Biz Roundup with more.